guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if it's your first time here, you are so welcome. You all know how we do it. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share this video with your friends, and thank you very much for watching this video. So today I'm going to be talking about my return to Africa. So today I'm going to be talking about Africa. Is moving to Africa a good idea? Like, that is a $1 million question. Everybody is always talking about this thing, and I think it's time we talk it out. Okay, so before I start, I would like to clear this misconception about Africa. A lot of people think Africa is a country, but rather it's a widely diverse continent with 54 different countries, different cultures, different people. So I'm not going to generalize this. So I'm not going to be talking about Africa in general. I'm going to be talking about the places I've been to, where I've experienced life, and this is Cameroon, Nigeria, Togo, Ghana, and Benin. So this is like in Central Africa and West Africa only. In this video, I'm going to be talking about transportation, government, money, housing, you know, everything we need to survive. That's what I'm going to be talking about. We are going to be seeing the pros and cons, everything like in details. So without wasting any much of your time, let's get into the video. First thing I'm going to be talking about is money. You all know we cannot do without money, and before the 17th century, our ancestors were using trade by barter as a means of exchange before the European came and colonized Africa. And when they came, they imposed their currencies on us, and you know, I will not say it's easy. Money is not easy in Africa. You know, the monies we are using, like in countries like Togo, Cameroon, Benin, these monies are not ours. We are using the franc CFA, which is not from our country. It's from France. It's borrowed, so there is always inflation and stuff like this. But in other countries like Ghana and Nigeria, they have their currencies. In Nigeria they have the naira, and in Ghana they have the cedis. So I would say it's better for them. But for these other countries with borrowed currencies, it's not easy at. The next point is going to be weather. Personally, I hate the weather in the Western world. I hate the winter and I hate the summer, because the heat is booming in the summer, and in the winter the cold is so much that I cannot control it. So with regards to weather in Africa, I would say it's mild. I'm talking about Central Africa and West Africa. So I would say the weather in Africa is great. Weather in West Africa and Central Africa, sorry, I'm talking about West Africa and Central Africa, the weather is great. And if I were to choose, I would choose the weather in Africa, because they have just the mild rainy season and the dry season, and the temperatures are not too high nor too cold. So you guys, I prefer the weather in Africa rather than the weather over there. Okay, about food. Food is something we all cannot do without. Here we have very fertile soils, and there is a lot, and foodstuffs are very cheap. At least everybody can afford to eat. So here everything is organic. You know, they don't use a lot of fertilizers to grow food. One thing that personally brought me back was food. I love African food. They have diverse kind, I don't know, they have so many different kind of foods, and I just can't do without, you know, African food. For me, is just the best. Okay, with regards to the people, African people are so friendly. African people are friendly, like so friendly. You know, I prefer living with people who have the same skin color like me. Not that I'm being racist or what, but you know, when you are abroad, they are always like bashing you about your skin color. They are always like looking down on you. They feel like maybe because you are black, you are not worth it, or you are not enough. But in Africa, you are living with people who are same skin color like you, so there is nothing like racism. You don't have to be afraid of anything like that. You know, not share with the people in Africa, you don't have to worry about racism or stuff like that. Everybody has the same chance. Everybody is given the same, I don't know, nobody is greater than the other, because we see each other like the same people. You guys get it? Yeah. So I would say in terms of people, I prefer African people, because they will treat me like one of them, but abroad you are seen like somebody else. Yeah. Okay, let's talk housing. Housing in Africa is affordable for people who want to rent. Like if you want to rent an apartment or a room, is quite affordable for the people. But to like own a house, to get loans from the bank and own a house for yourself is not easy, because you know money is not easy in Africa. But for people who are ready to rent, or if you have your money, it's easy to get a house. But for people in Africa, it's not really easy for them to own their own houses, so they are always renting, especially in big cities. But in the villages, you can easily get a house for yourself because things back there are cheaper, or what, I don't know. But in big cities, it's not really easy. People mainly depend on renting, and you know, people who have the money can own a house, but for that I will not say it's easy. And let's talk business in Africa. Personally, I would say doing business in Africa is great because Africa is still growing. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, Africa will be like the best place to invest because we are still growing. But in European countries, they are already at their limits, or I would say their breaking points. I don't know the right words to use here, but if you are starting a business in Africa, in 5 years or in 10 years, it's going to be big and it's going to be great because we are still trying to expand. And mostly European countries are using raw materials from Africa to build their countries. So I think if you can actually start something in Africa, it's going to be great rather than abroad. That's my own point of view. I'm not generalizing it for everybody, but I think starting a business in Africa is better than starting it over there. Personally, I've seen a lot of white people investing in Africa in different sectors, in restaurants, food, farming, agriculture, and stuff like that. So I think business in Africa is the best if you have the capital. About electricity. Okay. So I'm going to be talking in regards of in with regards to Cameroon, Nigeria, Togo, and Benin, Ghana. Yeah. So in Cameroon, the electricity problem there is not that bad. I was saying in Nigeria is really bad. They depend on generators, and the electricity problems in Togo, I would say, is really good. Say electricity in Togo is very good. You can stay in Togo for like 5 months without any blackouts. You know, there is always electricity. So I would say in Nigeria is really bad, in Cameroon is better, in Togo and Benin is like good. So it depends on the country where you are, but in Nigeria is bad. What about transportation? Mostly in Africa, people use bikes, buses, taxis as a means of transportation. Not so many people can afford their own personal vehicles, so mostly in Central Africa and West Africa, not everybody can afford a car, even though like 20% of the population can afford, but people mostly depend on buses, taxis, and bikes as a means of transportation. And about the roads are not that good. Okay, in terms of the government, we all know how bad the African government is, and with bad government, it really affects the per capita income of the population. The low per capita income, the population suffers, and it leads to, you know, low living conditions. And with all the corruptions in the government and stuff like that, it's not really doing any good to the population, but I would say they are working on it. Let's talk about water, the source of life. Personally, in Central Africa and in West Africa, I would say the condition is almost the same. We don't really have potable drinking water, and at least it's getting better by the day. People are trying different methods, different means to create clean drinking water for the population, but I will not say the water is really potable. Let's talk about water in terms of Cameroon and West Africa. I would say water is really a problem during the dry season, but during the rainy season, water is not a problem. And as for potable drinking water, not everybody can afford, and mostly rich people can afford clean water. So if you're in Africa and you have the money, you can afford clean bottled water. And for people who don't have money, I don't know, they just have to manage with they just have to deal with the pipe-borne water, which is not that clean. So I would say that's it for water. Yeah, but we are working towards it. With all these things being said, I would say personally Africa is the future. Whether you like it or not, Africa is the future, and I think it's high time we invest in our continent and make it grow for our children, because in some years to come everybody will be moving back to Africa. That's the reality. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? As for me, I see Africa as the future. So if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and thank you very much for watching this video. And until next time, I'll have to say bye bye. Thank you guys very much. Bye.